Greetings, friends of the channel Seekers of Harmony. We have started this meditation, this journey, inspired by the labyrinth and the thread of Ariadne as a symbol of our exploration regarding food. We have touched and shed light on many issues that I believe are of value, not only for the Seekers of Harmony, but all those who want to take responsibility of their food choices and those take an active role for their health and life. In the last chapter entitled Myths and the Future, we aim to touch this fine line between myths and truths and see how this vital need for food will affect our future and the planet we live in. As an expert nutritionist, when you hear myths about food, what comes to mind?
This is a question of everyday life, but also a question of history. An example taken from the movie is the myth of the poisoned apple that Snow White ate. Another example could be the food we consume during the day without being part of a movie plot. Certain myths develop from time to time because of the creative influence of marketing, because of all those who study, work, and deal with the science of food as well as with the science of exercise. One of those is the myth of carbohydrate, who is accused of making us gain weight. It is perhaps the most powerful of all the myths because it has helped initiate protocols that lead to its removal from food. But such thing is both difficult and actually against the nutritional needs of our daily life. Let me tell you, carbohydrate by itself does not cause increased body fat. The truth is that we are gaining weight simply when we consume a lot. So, practically, if we could balance its consumption during the day, it will provide us with needed energy. If we use this energy as fuel or just leave it in our body's storehouse, will determine whether we gain or maintain a normal weight.
The so-called light products has certainly influenced our idea of what we should choose in order to sustain, if not our health, at least the amount of calories we intake during a day. Are those products really a good alternative to non-light products?
The fact is that in general, people believe that fats are fattening and that leaner in fat products, titled as light, are not. Truth is that light products have been a huge investment of the food industry for years, but regardless of that, today this is something considered absolutely and not seasonal. We can assume that in the coming years will those products probably disappear from our hood. You may be surprised by what I'm going to reveal now, but you should know that products from which we have artificially removed the fat also have been removed the fat soluble vitamins that are essential for the body. So you can understand that this process, except not making the food healthier, is also removing the nutritions that we would have received from it. A typical example is the animal butter, which was almost phased out in previous years due to being heavily blamed for the high cholesterol levels. But on second reading, and through the science of nutrition and medicine that has studied the gut microbiota, we realize that butter also contains butyric acid, which contributes to the proper function of the intestine in addition to our metabolism. So, in the coming years, I guess, we will meet the respective guidelines, the use of spoonful of butter a day as a recommended dose. As you probably know, the intestine is the second brain, so we should make sure to keep it in functional properly.
We witness an intense effort in promoting sugar-free soft drinks, mainly through the promise of negative calories. This emphasizes even me, who is careful with what I put in my body. And somehow it seduces me to believe that I can consume the soft drink without guilt. What is the reality behind the fancy label of a promoted product?
In the field of nutrition, we have witnessed several substitutes for sugar in the recent years, which is considered for some as a good thing, for others not, and for the skeptics as money-making advertised product. Soft drinks that usually use sweeteners in order to be able to maintain the degree of sweetness without extra calories probably often reinforce other issues that have to do with our functionality during the day and not so much with our health. An example is the use of sweeteners in cola products that multiplies the action of caffeine. It is like drinking great amounts of coffee, affecting the quality of much needed sleep that helps us to calm down and detoxify the body. As a rule of thumb, it is advisable not to include soft drinks in our diet or at least to control their consumption. As with food in general, consuming a soft drink sparsely is not a problem, but consuming it daily becomes a problem.
Wine lovers probably make a toast each time they hear that wine is good for health. Is this another myth that contributes to its sale and increased consumption?
Wine, like beer, is perhaps one of the oldest drinks we know. Two servings of wine a day is theoretically a dose that provides us with nutrients and antioxidants, along with the good feeling it may give when accompanying our meal. In general, it is certainly a product giving us good nutrition in addition to the equal important socializing it is contributing to. But overconsumption and the exposure to high amounts of alcohol will definitely lead to health issues as well as other problematic situations associated with alcohol consumption. The health issues have to do with the liver, but also with the increase of abdominal fat, which is considered a problem and a precursor of several diseases that can accompany it.
I guess some is cheering with a statement of two small glasses of wine or a glass of beer contributing to our physical and mental health.
Some argues that if we didn't have beer, we wouldn't have the pyramids to admire them, since it was the first isotonic of humanity. Same rule goes for wine and beer as well as the rest we add in our body. The measure is of the most importance. So, when it comes to the enjoyment of alcoholic beverages, the key word is once more the balance. That in the case of alcohol depends on the amount but also the frequency of consumption. By maintaining the quantities that are right, we are maintaining a balanced and healthy lifestyle. Getting out of balance will sooner or later cause not only health issues but problems also in other areas of our life.
Would your expertise as dietitian say that balance is the key word for achieving harmony for body and mind?
Absolutely, balance is definitely the key word. In addition, and although this may not be the same for everyone, I wish to underline the importance of our choices in the quest of this balance. In general, I would suggest a diet that has plenty of fruits and vegetables when available and in season. It would be good to have some snacks during the day in order not to starve, something that in the next meal will make us eat like a wild beast crying for survival. Remember that when we try to survive, we cannot be functional and harmonious in a social environment. So, it is wise to have food in our stomach but without exaggeration. Exaggeration is always the problem, not only in food but also in our societies. As a nutrition, I usually advise eating not more than when we reach the notion that it is enough. And that goes for being content both physically and mentally. One way to accomplish this is to give ourselves time to consume our meal within a reasonable amount of time. Remember, our body is a mechanism that is made not only to survive but also to live well.
How true is the saying about eat as kings in the morning, as lords in the afternoon, and as poor in the evening? Do you think it is a simple and good piece of advice?
We have to go back in time and see the environment in which this saying developed. In the old days, getting up in the morning and eating a rich breakfast was necessary in order to be able to cope with the heavy work that was not supported by technology as today. Then, in order to be able to continue the day, the rehabilitation meal one would have could not be too heavy so that he could be functional. While at night, when one would rest, the food would be just enough to help sleep lightly and to rest. We can adapt this saying to our daily lives depending on the hours we move and depending on the hours we are functional. However, there are protocols in recent years that have a different perception. By delaying the meal for a few hours in the morning so that we can consume nutritions of the previous day in order to ensure the much praised balance. As such, this becomes a detoxification routine, and if it is the correct way or not will be relieved by the study and the evolution of this method.
The quest on finding answers in relation to food brought us back in time. It has forced us to enter our body, touch our spirituality, made us see the influence of marketing, brought us face to face with myths and facts, but also gave valuable advices that can help us exit a labyrinth of confusion. It has been a quest of finding answers leading to balance. The final question of our journey would be no other than what can contribute to a sustainable future for both humanity and our planet.
This question is not only addressed to someone who has a job as nutrition as mine, but to anyone who feeds. Among the challenges we witness is an unequal distribution in the amount of food. The problem is obvious if we compare Africa with the USA. Perhaps having an awareness in regarding to maintain a balance also in this context would be wise. Different cultures develop from time to time, such as vegetarianism or the limited consumption of animal products, with the aim to secure our resources for the coming generations. Combining the knowledge of all those cultures by cooperating and being honest on what is the best solution for the sustainability of our planet is to me the way to go. Time will tell which way will be successful to meet the increased challenges we are already facing. Seekers of harmony, I believe it is important to ask ourselves, both as citizens of this world as well as individuals, if what we consume helps to ensure the continuity of our planet, the continuity of human civilization, and us as a species. The future needs our honesty as well as our love.
English is not our native language, so the chance of expressing something in a wrong way, a limited way, is unfortunately very possible. Regardless of that, we have talked from the heart, and as always shared our thoughts, reflections, and experiences with the hope that we reach yours. Join and enjoy.